We are not alone on this rock hurtling through space, nor are we when we stand on the shore, looking out into the silent sea. In the depths, there are vast, vast reaches and highways and byways traveled by marine life, secret pathways unknown to you and I. Yet, you, these fellow travelers in these currents, listen to the stories held deep in their bones, through their eyes and their movement of the time and eras and eons before us and after us, and the possibilities of the deep, deep future of brilliant blue and green. So come with me, take my hand, and let's dive deep and follow the Whalesong home.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fill this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love here shines above each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Berkeley. My name is Sarah Ward. My pronouns are she and her, and I am today's worship associate. This is a welcoming congregation. We are always working on how to better welcome and care for one another. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, and we are so glad that you have come. And as always, whoever you are, we welcome you in the fullness of who you are. As we begin today, we want to acknowledge that this church occupies land in the territory of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people. We understand that we continue to benefit from the occupation of this land, and we acknowledge and embrace our responsibility to take restorative action. We commit our congregation to be in right relation with Indigenous communities, aligning in solidarity, supporting Indigenous projects, and caring properly for the land. Please take a moment now to prepare yourself and your space for our time together. You might grab a candle and a way to light it so that you can join in our chalice lighting at home. And now let us kindle our candles, or the inner flames of our hearts, with these words from the Oberlin UU Fellowship. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet, and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share in this time together. I now invite you to share in the comments where you are by writing, "I carry the flame in," whatever town or city you are joining us from. And now please join in our opening song. The words will be on your screen.
When the summer sun is shining over golden land and sea, and the flowers in the hedgerow welcome butterfly and bee, and my open heart is glowing, full of warmth for everyone, and I feel an inner beauty which reflects the summer sun. When the summer clouds of thunder bring the long-awaited rain, and the thirsty soil is moistened, and the grass is green again, then I long for summer sunshine, but I know that clouds and tears are a part of life's refreshment, like the rainbow's hopes and fears. In the cool of summer evening, when the dancing insects play, and in garden, street, and meadow linger echoes of the day, and my heart is full of yearning, hopes and memories of the whole of my being, reaching inwards to the corners of my soul.
And now please join with me in saying our covenant. Love guides this church. The quest for truth and justice is its common purpose. To give thanks, listen deeply, speak with care, honor our differences, and seek and grant forgiveness. These things we covenant with one another.
'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when you find yourself in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be true, 'tis the gift to labor till the day is through. And when you find yourself in a place so fine, will be in the cool of the birch and the pine. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
'Tis the gift to be joyful, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift, 'tis the gift, 'tis the simple gift to be. And when you find yourself filled with pure delight, the gift to be simple has led you aright. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn. and right.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Catherine Boyle. My pronouns are she, hers, hers. You don't see me right now, but you'll see me soon. This is the time for all ages. So if you're young or young at heart, get close and get cozy. Today, we are not alone in service. Look beyond your window towards the sea and say hello to our friends. We are traveling companions to great animals of the sea known as whales today. And when we think of whales, some stories may come to your brain. Maybe Jonah and the whale, the Hebrew Bible story of a man who survived in the belly of a whale. Or maybe Moby Dick, the classic novel. Or perhaps you think of Free Willy, the movie of a boy and his relationship with a whale. Today, I share with you another whale of a tale, but one that you may have not heard of before. This story comes to us from the Tlingit people of Alaska. Their name in their language means people of the tides. Perhaps you'll see why in this story. This story is the story of how the killer whale, the orca, came to exist. It shows the relationship between humans and these creatures. Let's begin the story. In a time before any killer whale, there lived a very able sea lion hunter and woodcarver named Natsalane. He was from another island and he married the daughter of a chief of the island. It was then he decided to live among her people. He was accepted into her family, and because he tried hard to prove himself, he soon had a place of honor as a hunter and spear carver. His desire to please won the admiration of his family, but his oldest brothers-in-law misunderstood his intention. They became jealous and plotted against him. The men decided to get even with Natsalane on the day of the big seal hunt. After much preparation, the day of the big hunt finally arrived, and Natsalane, along with his 4 new brothers, paddled their canoe out into the open strait towards the rocks. The wind, it blew fiercely and the waves splashed high. But Natsalane, he was determined that the hunt would be successful. When the canoe neared the rock, he leapt towards the shore and plunged his spear into the nearest sea lion before it could escape. Unfortunately for Natsalane, the point of the spear broke out and the young sea lion slipped into the water. Worse yet, Natsalane saw that his brothers were paddling away. They were abandoning him on the deserted island with no food or weapons. Their betrayal stung him deeply, and after a time, he pulled his cloak up over his head and fell asleep. Natsalane. Natsalane awoke the following day to the sound of his name being called. Natsalane. He followed it and he saw a sea lion that looked like a man beckoning him to go down with him beneath the waves into the sea lion's house. At the great house, he met the chief of the sea lions, who asked him if he could help his injured son. Natsalane saw that the young lion had his spear point embedded in his body and was able to remove it with some great effort. The son was healed, and the chief was ever so grateful and granted Natsalane new skills and thanks. He arranged for his safe return then to the village. Natsalane first met with his wife when he returned. After telling her this incredible story, he made her promise to keep his return a secret. And then he took his carving tools and went into the woods to carry out his plan of revenge on the brothers who had betrayed him. Remembering the sea lion's chief's gifts, he asked him for help and began carving a large blackfish, a killer whale of spruce, which had never been seen before. After 3 tries and much improvement of his carving skills, he fashioned a whale, and when it launched out into sea, it came to life. Natalane called the blackfish back towards him. He ordered it to find his brothers when they returned from hunting and to capsize their boat. The blackfish set out and found them. It broke the boat in 2, and the brothers had to swim back to shore. They told everyone on the island the story of the great blackfish and their treachery. Sorrow and regret filled the brothers, and they asked Natalane for his forgiveness, which he granted. Not so long after, though, a strange blackfish with teeth was seen near the shore and at times would leave a freshly killed seal or halibut for the villagers. The villagers now came to wonder if Natalane had carved the blackfish and given it life. Natalane had instructed it to never again harm humans, but instead help them. And as he continued to help the villagers, they realized that the killer whale was a gift from Natalane. And so they took it for their crest. Still, Natalane became a legend to the village, and some have claimed to see him still riding the seas on the back of 2 great blackfish. The end. Please join with me now in a guided meditation. Get comfortable. If you feel free, close your eyes, or you can keep them open. Rest your hands in your lap and your feet on the ground. And let's begin. Inhale. Take a breath and fill your lungs with the air of the ancients that you share this breath with, this largest mammal on the planet. And then exhale. Inhale. In the sea, the whales, they hold their breath for 2 hours. As they swim deep into the deep, your breath takes you deeper with them. Your mind quiets, stills, as silent as the ocean. Exhale. Inhale. and hear the distant whale song, this litany of language unknowable, unfathomable, and ever alluring. In the deep here, nestled amongst these giants, you are serene here. You are safe here. Exhale. We stay here for a few quiet moments in the deep blue heart of the sea, inhaling and exhaling as we lay and rest and listen to the breathing, the motions of these living giants at peace. We now enter our time in the service that we make for our hearts and our spirits, for our cares and our concerns for one another. We lift up and hold the joys and sorrows and cares and concerns and challenges that we may each be facing. During the time of silence this morning, I invite you to share any joys or sorrows or significant milestones of your own in the comments. I invite us all to hold these cares in the compassionate embrace of the beloved community. Please join me now as we bow our heads in prayer. Spirit of life, by the water we look out and wonder, watching the water cycle in action, eternally refreshing itself and our world. This mechanism of wonder happens all over, from California to Nepal, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from the North Pole to the South Pole. This ordinary everyday element connects us all, no matter our species, human or whale. So we are grateful for the source of life, for water, for the many gifts it brings to our lives. We lift up our gratitude and remember to care for it and all the creatures that live within it. May it be so. Amen. Now let's join in singing number 298, Wake Now, My Senses.
Wake now, my senses, and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Wake now, my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim whose quest for the true, honor the beauty and wisdom of time, suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted the privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance clear. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Our reading today is called Bone, from beloved poet Mary Oliver. Understand, I am always trying to figure out what the soul is, and where hidden, and what shape. And so, last week, when I found on the beach the ear bone of a pilot whale that may have died hundreds of years ago, I thought, maybe I was close to discovering something. For the ear bone is the portion that lasts the longest in any of us, man or whale, shaped like a squat spoon with a pink scoop, where once, in the lively swimmer's head, it joined its two sisters in the house of hearing. It was only 2 inches long, and I thought the soul might be like this. So hard, so necessary, yet almost nothing. Beside me, the gray sea was opening and shutting its wave doors, unfolding over and over its time-ridiculing roar. I looked, but I couldn't see anything through its dark-knit glare, yet don't we all know the golden sand is there at the bottom, though our eyes have never seen it, nor can our hands ever catch it, lest we would sift down into fractions and facts and certainties. And what the soul is, also I believe, I will never quite know, though I play at the edges of knowing. Truly I know our part is not knowing, but looking and touching and loving, which is the way I walked on, softly, through the pale pink morning light.
If you ever want to find yourself a whale, I suggest you go to Bakersfield. That's what I learned from paleontologist Nick Fison's excellent book, Spying on Whales. Now, these sun-drenched suburbs of California don't usually come to mind when searching for marine life, but there are plenty of marine fossils. For millions of years ago, those highways and byways of the Central Valley, all of it was under the water and brimming with life. Sharktooth Hill, it's located in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. It's a relic from when the Central Valley was an embayment to the Pacific. The site is between 15.2 and 16 million years old, give or take a couple years, when Central California was under the sea. The site is filled with fossils from when California and Earth was a very, very different place. But it isn't so strange to find whale bones in Southern California. After all, whales, despite their proximity to water, have been showing up in bizarre places ever since we first became aware of them. You may expect to find these Leviathan bones in a museum or maybe an abandoned whale station, but whales are part of cathedrals with their bones as part of the building. Did you know the same strata of stone that the pyramids were made from contain whale fossils? And there are even whales in space. Voyager 1 and 2 that are now soaring across the vastness of time and space continue to share the sound of the strange whale song, which is both soothing and alien, all at the same time, echoing it out into the cosmos for eternity. We really don't know what these whales are saying. They could be talking about krill, exchanging the best spot for plankton on a Friday night, or maybe talking about the latest Whale Flicks series. We know so little of what they're saying, yet we feel compelled to share their song with the universe. Perhaps because there is something so haunting about it that we had to show everyone in the galactic neighborhood, waving it. Look at this. You know, it isn't just singing, though, that shapes whales' allure to humanity. Their size and statures, their rare sightings, the long treks across thousands of miles have invoked our curiosity and made us write literary works for centuries. Even Aristotle himself wondered about whales. Yet even in all their mystery, humans still see ourselves in these beautiful creatures. It may be surprising to consider, but humans and whales, we share many things. First of all, we both have belly buttons. The proto-ancestor of the whale was discovered in 1981. This creature lived on land, and there was a fossil that found with a fetus in the mountains of Pakistan. There's a tangible, physical cord of connection between mother and child. When you cut the cord, warm blood spills. We also breathe the same air. The Guinness Book of World Records state that in 2009, one Stefan Mufane held his breath for 11 minutes and 30 seconds. This is quite impressive to me, a person who can barely hold her breath for 15 seconds. Yet, this is nothing compared to our whale friends. Some species of whales can hold their breath for over 2 hours as they dive deep, searching for food. But still, like us, they need air, so they have to come up. We share this precious resource, this breath of life, and what we do with it affects all creatures. We also share preferences. You know, some people are lucky to be ambidextrous. They can use both hands. Some, like me, can only use one. Whales are like this too. Whales have side preferences. When hunting, they prefer the right or the left, just depending on the whale. They also have buddies because, like us, they are social. Whales live in pods. Some species of whale also hunt together because it's more fun to do errands with friends than by yourself. They have learned what we learned, that survival is more likely in community than apart. We know there are emotional bonds between whales. We may not know their culture intimately, but observing their behavior, scientists recognize that the connection is not randomness or a matter of being in the same place in the same time, but meaningful, purposeful, intentional. Like us, they choose to be together, to communicate with each other, to live together. Speaking of talking, we're talkers. Both humans and whales love to communicate. Once, the sea was quieter, before industrial fishing and cruise lines took over. Over the currents, then traveled Whalesong. Now, the oceans are a lot noisier. One wonders if it's harder to think and to hear down there. Our human brains often think of the sea as separate from us. We have this landedness bias ingrained in us. But her and her creatures are impacted by our songs, our speech, our noise, just as the land is. Perhaps that is why the whale song is so haunting to humanity. It's a reminder of our species' stewardship to this planet, seemingly abandoned. Another thing we share with our whale friends is that our histories are incomplete. Much like how we don't have a complete tree of our ancestors, they're the same, exist with whales. There are over 80 current species of whales, but if you look in those fossil records, there's over 600. As the man-made Anthropocene continues, the number of those to join the fossil record is far too high. Lastly, we share this. We share time. Whales live so much longer than us humans. They are a way for us to think about deep time. Off the coast, there are whales that have survived the harpoons of the whaling industry, only to swim in radioactive waters from World War II. And as the Berlin Wall fell, these whales swam deeper and deeper as their territories filled more and more with industrial fishing, and the internet made its way into every home. The whales still relied on echolocation. Soon, though, as climate change becomes ever more apparent, as we retreat inland, these ancient creatures will still be swimming in those waters, still singing that same mournful song. The whale song is alien, incomprehensible, strictly anthropomizing here. The sad, deep sound of the whale song is a clarion call for us. It is a call from the beyond, a warning, a reminder of our liminal existence. Whales, we see glimpses of them, and despite all our study of them for millennia, we still know so little about them. When we hear the whale songs from the depths of the sea, it reminds us that we are not the only species on this planet. For whales' existence are tragically, irrevocably linked with our own. Ever since we started listening and tracking whale songs, we learned that there are known lips of songs, sung for generations. Each new singer adds its new tonal architecture to the endless symphony in the sea, each generation adding to the whale story. In this time of instant gratification and now culture, Whales implore us to stop, take a breath, slow down, and dive deep into life and meaning. As climate change continues, our whale siblings contain lessons of deep resilience and hope. Whales have gone from land to sea in a remarkable evolution. A whale is a motif of the power of time. We Americans have shortened our eras to 4 years, and each presidential term feels like a century. The last one felt like several. So, for a creature to exist 100, 200 years can be difficult for us to grok. But thinking like a whale, thinking long term, thinking how we can add our own song to the song of life, thinking generationally, 200 years. In 200 years, 4 years is a minute, a blink of an eye. In space-time, 200 years is a nanosecond. Such as the time of the Anthropocene that we live in makes this lesson necessary, because long-term thinking is what we need for our species to survive. The sad hard truth is that climate change is here. We see that in the fires that rage across the lands and the floods that filled Germany and China. And as the waters flood the earth, we may not survive, but ever adaptable, the whales may. What will they think of as they swim through the empty condos, Miami? Perhaps they will swim past a radio or a long dead iPod, some electronic device used to play human songs. And they will wonder then where all the noise has gone from upstairs. Or will they instead swim in new waters over our old cities, looking down upon them? And we will look down upon them from boats, from a greener future, from generations who knew their own existence did not trump the future generations' right to exist. Life is such a precious, fragile thing, and ecosystems even more so. As we reflect upon them, let's listen to the sacred whale song. Feel the vibrations of these giants in our bones, and know that our existence, their existence, all species' existence, human, whale, or anything else on this planet, are holy. Let's follow the whale song home. Amen.
As we commit together to make this a loving community, we take time to remember that UUCB needs our gifts and support. We invite you now to make an offering. Each week, half of our offerings are shared with a good neighbor organization who needs our financial support, and we hope you continue to practice generosity with them during these difficult times. This month, our good neighbor organization is the Lavender Seniors of the East Bay. The mission of Lavender Seniors of the East Bay is to improve the lives of older lesbian, gay, transgender, and queer residents of Alameda and Contra Costa counties. They do this through direct services, outreach, advocacy, and education. A critical aspect of this work is ensuring that LGBTQ elders are well prepared emotionally, physically, legally, and socially in their later years. Offerings of any value are received with gratitude. Details on how to give electronically will appear on your screen as our offertory begins. Thank you. And now please join with me in dedicating our offering. We dedicate our offering and ourselves to the mission of this congregation, to create loving community, inspire spiritual growth, and encourage lives of integrity, joy, and service. I hope you've had a whale of a time joining us today for our online service. Before we shift to our coffee hour on Zoom, may I remind you to check out what's new in our congregation by visiting our website, uucb.org. Click on the News tab to find The Week Ahead, our weekly email newsletter, for a great list of upcoming activities. And now, here are just a few upcoming events. After church today, the WOWS, Whites Opposing White Supremacy group, will gather at 12:30. The People of Color Caucus, POCC, is meeting at 1 p.m. Check online for the Zoom info for these meetings. Coming up this Friday, July 30th, summer fun at Freestone. Get the camping gear ready and gather the kids for a weekend of fun from Friday, July 30th at 5 p.m. through Sunday, August 1st. Bring camping supplies, food, and whatever you need to have some fun. If you plan to attend, please RSVP with Reverend Catherine Boyle at family.ministry@uucb.org. Next Sunday, August 1st at 12:30 p.m., join the Social Justice Council's Literature, Film, and Drama contingent to discuss the UUA's Common Read for 2021 to 2022 called Breathe, A Letter to My Sons by Imani Perry. And now, please join me in singing our closing song. The words will appear on your screen.
got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Annie Dillard wrote, "What is the difference between a cathedral and a physics lab? Are they not both saying hello? We spy on whales and on interstellar radio objects. We starve ourselves and pray till we are blue." With her words, look out to the sea, look up to the sky, keep wondering, keep reaching, keep praying, keep connected to each other and to this wide, beautiful, mysterious world and all the creatures within it. Blessed be. Amen.